So it did take a bit of time for us to get to know each other. But we did become, very close friends from quite early on. There's a story. Breaking news from Buckingham Palace has just shattered the calm of the British monarchy. What was supposed to be a routine announcement has turned into something far more devastating. The confirmation we've all been dreading about Catherine, Princess of Wales, has finally arrived, and the implications are staggering. The announcement that changed everything. The ornate gates of Buckingham Palace have witnessed countless historic moments, but few compared to what unfolded just moments ago. At precisely 11:45 this morning, the Palace press office released a statement that has sent shock waves through the United Kingdom and across the world. The words, carefully crafted yet devastatingly clear, confirmed what many had feared but hoped against. Catherine, Princess of Wales, the woman who has become the very embodiment of modern royal grace and resilience, faces a battle far more serious than anyone had publicly acknowledged. The statement released through official channels and immediately picked up by every major news organization revealed that Catherine's health situation has taken an unexpected and deeply concerning turn. While the palace had previously announced in March of 2024 that Catherine was undergoing preventative chemotherapy following abdominal surgery, today's announcement paints a far graver picture. The cancer, which was discovered during that initial surgery in January, has proven more aggressive than initially believed. Medical experts advising the royal household have recommended an extended and intensified treatment protocol, one that will require Catherine to step back completely from public duties for an indefinite period. Royal correspondent Jonathan Sacerdote was among the first to break down the implications on live television. His voice, usually measured and professional, carried an unmistakable weight as he explained that the language used in palace statements is never accidental. Every word is scrutinized, debated, and approved at the highest levels. When the palace uses terms like extended treatment and indefinite period, they're signaling something far more serious than a temporary setback. This isn't about taking a few months off to recover from routine procedures. This is about a woman in her early 40s fighting for her life while trying to protect her 3 young children from the full horror of what their mother is enduring. Within minutes of the announcement, social media erupted. Twitter, now known as X, saw Catherine's name trending worldwide. The hashtag #PrayForCatherine climbed to number 1 in over 50 countries. Instagram posts from royal fan accounts garnered millions of views within the first hour. But beyond the social media frenzy, something more profound was happening. People who had never particularly cared about the monarchy found themselves moved by the tragedy unfolding. Here was a woman who had done everything right, who had devoted herself to public service, who had raised her children with remarkable normality despite their extraordinary circumstances, now facing every parent's worst nightmare. The timing of this announcement is particularly cruel. Just last month, Catherine had made what many believed was a triumphant return to public life. Appearing at the Remembrance Day service at the cenotaph, she stood on the balcony, impeccably dressed in black, her composure absolute. To the watching world, she appeared to be on the mend, gradually returning to health after her difficult year. Behind the scenes, however, a very different reality was unfolding. Medical scans performed in late November revealed complications that no one had anticipated. The cancer cells, which doctors had hoped were completely eliminated, had shown signs of activity in areas that filled the medical team with dread. Palace insiders speaking on condition of anonymity have painted a picture of organized chaos in the hours leading up to today's announcement. Senior royals were informed late last night during emergency meetings. King Charles himself, still managing his own cancer diagnosis revealed earlier this year, was said to be devastated. Prince William, who has been Catherine's rock throughout this ordeal, had to be the one to make the final decision about going public with the full truth. The alternative, continuing to maintain the facade that everything was progressing normally, had become untenable. Medical realities have a way of forcing hands, and the royal family's hand has been forced in the most heartbreaking way possible. Catherine's journey through the shadows. To understand the full weight of today's announcement, we must go back to where this nightmare began. January 16, 2024, was supposed to be a day like any other in the carefully choreographed life of the Princess of Wales. Instead, it marked the beginning of a journey through darkness that Catherine could never have imagined. The planned abdominal surgery, described at the time as successful and for a non-cancerous condition, revealed something far more sinister. During the procedure at the London Clinic, one of Britain's most prestigious private hospitals, surgeons discovered abnormalities that demanded immediate biopsy. The results, delivered days later, changed everything. Cancer, the word that strikes fear into the hearts of millions, was now part of Catherine's reality. But this wasn't just any diagnosis. The specific type and location, details the palace has carefully guarded, suggested a particularly aggressive form that required immediate and intensive treatment. Medical experts speaking generally about such cases explain that when cancer is discovered incidentally during surgery for other issues, it often means the disease has been silently progressing undetected. This silent progression is what makes it so dangerous. Catherine's decision to undergo preventative chemotherapy, announced to the world in that emotional video message released in March, was framed as a precautionary measure. She spoke with characteristic dignity, explaining that while the surgery had been successful, tests had revealed the presence of cancer and her medical team had recommended chemotherapy as the best course forward. What she didn't say, what she couldn't say without causing panic, was that her doctors were deeply concerned about microscopic disease that might have already spread beyond the surgical site. The chemotherapy regimen Catherine endured was brutal. Friends close to the family have quietly shared that the side effects were far worse than anyone anticipated. The nausea, the fatigue, the hair loss that she managed to conceal with expert styling and wigs during her brief public appearances. Each cycle of treatment left her weaker. Yet, she persisted with the same determination that has defined her approach to royal life. She wanted to beat this. She needed to beat this. George, Charlotte, and Louis needed their mother. Throughout the spring and summer of 2024, Catherine largely disappeared from public view. The rare photographs released by Kensington Palace showed a woman trying to maintain normality for her children. Birthday portraits, casual family snapshots, carefully curated moments designed to reassure the public that the princess was on the mend. But those who knew how to read between the lines saw troubling signs. The weight loss was noticeable. The careful positioning in photographs to hide the toll treatment was taking. The cancellation of appearances at events she would have normally attended without question. By September, when Catherine released a video announcing the completion of her chemotherapy, there was cautious optimism. She spoke of relief, of looking forward to undertaking more public engagements, of the light at the end of the tunnel. The family footage showed her laughing with William and their children in the Norfolk countryside. It seemed like a victory lap, a triumphant declaration that she had beaten the odds. Medical professionals watching that video, however, noted the careful language. She said her chemotherapy had ended, not that she was cancer-free. She spoke of a new phase of recovery, not of being cured. These distinctions matter enormously. The autumn brought what seemed like a gradual return to royal duties. Catherine appeared at Wimbledon in July, a brief but significant public outing. She attended the remembrance service in November, standing with the dignity and grace that has become her hallmark. Each appearance was carefully managed, her schedule meticulously planned to accommodate her energy levels. What the public didn't know was that behind each of these appearances were extensive medical consultations, careful monitoring, and growing concern among her doctors. The scans that should have shown clear progress instead revealed shadows, small areas of concern that required additional imaging, further tests, and biopsies that brought back results no one wanted to see. By late November, Catherine's medical team was faced with an agonizing reality. The cancer wasn't gone. It was adapting, evolving, finding ways to persist despite the aggressive treatment she had already endured. New treatment protocols would be necessary, more intensive, more experimental, and more uncertain in their outcomes. Throughout all of this, Catherine has maintained a strength that borders on superhuman. Those who have spent time with her during this ordeal speak of a woman determined not to be defined by her illness, even as she faces the greatest challenge of her life. Not to be defined by her illness, even as she faces the greatest challenge of her life. Those closest to the princess describe someone who continues to put her children first despite the unimaginable physical and emotional toll of her treatment. Every decision, every medical appointment, every difficult conversation has been shaped by one overriding concern: protecting Prince George, Princess Charlotte, and Prince Louis from as much pain and uncertainty as possible. Prince William has remained by Catherine's side throughout the ordeal, quietly balancing the immense responsibilities of royal life with the role of husband and father. Behind palace walls, those who know the couple say they have relied heavily on one another, finding strength in their close-knit family even as the future has become increasingly uncertain. Public engagements have been carefully planned around Catherine's health, with every appearance requiring extensive coordination between doctors, palace officials, and security teams. King Charles, who continues his own battle with cancer, has reportedly offered unwavering support to his daughter-in-law. The king is said to understand better than almost anyone the emotional weight of receiving such a diagnosis while carrying the expectations of public life. Senior members of the royal family have rallied around Catherine, determined to provide privacy and stability during a period of extraordinary hardship. Across Britain and around the world, messages of support have poured in from political leaders, charitable organizations, celebrities, and ordinary citizens alike. Outside Buckingham Palace and Kensington Palace, well-wishers have left thousands of flowers, handwritten cards, and candles. Many expressed hope that Catherine's courage in speaking openly about her health would encourage others facing similar battles to seek medical advice, remain hopeful, and lean on the support of loved ones. Cancer specialists have emphasized that every patient's journey is unique. While treatment plans can become more intensive if complications arise, outcomes depend on countless individual factors, including the type of cancer, how it responds to therapy, and the patient's overall health. Medical professionals continue to stress that advances in cancer treatment have improved survival rates for many patients and that ongoing research is creating new options that were unavailable just a few years ago. For now, however, the focus remains on Catherine's recovery. Palace officials have made it clear that she will not return to public duties until her medical team believes she is ready. Her health, they insist, must come before every ceremonial obligation, every royal engagement, and every public expectation. As the nation absorbs today's announcement, one thing has become unmistakably clear. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has earned admiration not only for her grace as a future queen, but also for the dignity, resilience, and quiet courage she has displayed throughout the most difficult chapter of her life. Millions continue to hope that the months ahead will bring encouraging news and that she will one day return to the public role she has carried with such dedication. For now, the world waits, united in wishing Catherine strength, healing, and the precious gift of time with those she loves most. Note: this transcript contains several dramatic claims presented as fact. Publicly available information does not support claims that Buckingham Palace announced a worsening of Catherine's condition, that her cancer had become more aggressive, or that she was fighting for her life. It appears to be a dramatized or speculative script rather than a verified news report.